Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every month we deep dive into a different aspect of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchises. It doesn't matter, because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And this month we have not only a new theme, we're in a new month, and it is November. We're going to be talking about films that we did not pick. We're talking about films that are completely new to us, chosen by guests. And this week we're talking about
The Pest.
brought to us by our guest.
Hi, Renee. Yes.
All right,
Renee
cool.
from Keep Up the Nerds, yeah.
All right, introduce yourself.
Yes.
Let me know who you are.
They're
Plug,
like, Renee, who's that?
Yeah, because the last time you were on was for our Force Awakens episode.
Yes.
Yes, well, you made a good argument as to why Force Awakens was a good Star Wars movie.
It is a good Star Wars.
It is.
It is.
Yes. Other ones, arguable.
Yeah.
And you decided to bring us The Pest.
Yes, there was a choice of movies, and this one was the one that you guys didn't see.
Correct.
I couldn't believe Dean didn't want to watch the chick flick.
Oh yeah,
I was totally game for that.
maybe next year.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe next year. Maybe next year. Well, like, The Pest is a movie that I am aware of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is one of those, like, movies that has disappeared from the public consciousness. It
It's-
exists in, like,
yeah.
that YouTube, like, quote-unquote bad movie
Like
review
TikTok,
channels.
yeah, like
Tubi.
TikTok or Instagram when people talk about, like, you know, oh yeah, John Leguizamo did a movie back in the day, and then this is the joke that he used. So- and-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one stars John Leguizamo.
Mhm.
Okay, this movie
I'm looking at your notes.
Yeah,
I'm,
don't
like,
worry
I'm,
about
like,
it.
I'm like, what did he find? You have a whole page. Like-
I have lots of notes.
Yeah.
Yes, this movie required a lot of notes. But
Yeah.
before we even get into like the movie in general,
Yeah.
this movie is entirely predicated on if you like John Leguizamo's sense of humor or not, right?
Yeah.
So, do we like John Leguizamo
I liked him as a kid.
as a kid?
No, yeah.
As a man grown, you're
Yeah.
like, John Wick, he didn't bring me
No,
back.
no,
I don't
no.
know.
Now he's playing like these like serious roles now, and it's like I kind of miss the quirkiness and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, as a kid, you like that energy. You like him being, you know, making faces, doing voices and stuff like that, and they really just like beat it out of him in this movie. Like,
This is all of the quirky
Yes.
Leguizamo.
yeah.
But Becky, John Leguizamo, yay or nay on John Leguizamo?
I like him. I mean, I haven't seen too much of his work recently, but I grew up watching Moulin Rouge, and I loved him in that because he's Toulouse-Lautrec in that
Yes,
movie,
he
and he's,
is.
you know, wild and all over the place, kind of like this. But yeah, he's
He was also in Super Mario Brothers,
He is
Oh.
the
Luigi
greatest
Mario.
Yes.
video game movie of all time.
Yes, I love that movie growing
Yeah.
up.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
That is funny because I think my exposure to John Leguizamo was the Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, as a child, the Super Mario Brothers movie slaps.
No, it
okay?
did. Yeah, as a kid,
Absolutely
you're
slaps.
like, what?
And then the moment you hit like 14 and and taste starts to grow
Yeah.
and you watch it again, you're like, God damn, this movie's kind of trash, but
Yeah.
fuck it, I'll roll with it.
It's one of those things when you watch something from your childhood and you're like, oh, I remember it being better than this. You know, that's what happened with a bit of The Pest. There's still some jokes that I like that I want to talk about, but there were some moments where I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, no. When the Chinese restaurant in particular,
Yeah.
the way
Very
he's
long
talking,
Chinese
Yeah.
restaurant
yeah, the
scene.
way he's talking, and I'm putting air quotes, Chinese.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because the reason this movie is on your radar was
Yeah.
because it was a movie from your childhood, right?
Yes, that's the sole reason why I watched this movie. I used to live next to a video store when I was a kid, and I would go to the video store and just look at all the VHS tapes. And I remember seeing this poster, which I think it's the same poster you see when you guys watch it on Tubi, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I watched it on
Yeah.
Tubi. It's also free on YouTube
Oh,
for
is
everyone
it?
out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
okay.
It's both free legitimately and non-legitimately on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, okay. So you can watch it with ads and then not with ads.
Correct.
Yeah. So I remember seeing like just it's so colorful, and they even chose like his big grin to be put on with a bullseye on it and stuff like that. And I was like, what is this? The Pest? And I looked at the back and I was just like, it's the same thing. It's colorful. There's some they really utilized his face as the marketing in here, you know.
Yeah.
So like they have, I think in the back of the box when he says he's blind, his eyes are up. There's a picture of him going like this, you know. There's also him with the face paint that they put on him.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, okay, let's see where this movie goes. And I remember watching it. I loved it as a kid. I would rent it so many times, watch it so many times. This was a movie that me and my sister still quote at each other with.
Mhm.
Okay.
We always this is when we started saying as a kid, it was saying love, peace, and chicken grease. You know, yeah.
So, because this movie comes out in 97,
Yeah.
like, were you, like, picking this up in, like, 97, 98?
I was
or
picking up
this...
maybe like 2000, 2001. So I was
Okay.
still, I think at that time I was like still in 3rd grade. Yeah.
Okay, because I only have a vague idea of how old you are.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to keep that a mystery.
Okay, you want to keep? I was gonna say
Okay.
I'll say it right now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Okay, so you're like in the 3rd grade for this. I guess that's probably the target audience for the
Yes.
past, because that was a thing going through my mind
Mm-hmm.
when the movie finished, and I was kind of in a daze, you know, sitting there, you know, with the cigarette and the black and white and the
Yeah.
smoke coming in, trying to figure out what's going on. Was like, who's the target audience? Because it is definitely
It's not a kids movie.
No.
it's not a kids
It's
movie.
not a kids movie, but it's in the comedy section when I found it. It is a comedy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But the movie,
it has this colorful Gare style that's
Yes.
aimed for
Mhm.
children, but the jokes and the rate of jokes are
Mhm.
definitely aimed for
yeah,
like
the opening is very much to target kids because he's being quirky. He's singing in the shower. He's,
Yeah.
there's like 15 costume changes.
Yeah, and he's doing different voices and stuff like that. And that's very much like, you know, appealing to kids. But then when you watch it, he's talking about, you know, when he goes into the movie, he talks about lying to scamming and stuff like that. He goes and talks to the pastor and stuff, and then he talks about how he scammed the people during the church because his booth made the most money and stuff like that.
Yeah. And there's also the whole thing, like, the pest kills people with the power of bass in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, pretty, like, blatant gay jokes in this.
Oh,
There's a lot
yes.
of, like, you know what, let's just make fun of every ethnicity in this
There's
film.
there's race. There's a lot of
so
race
many
jokes.
race jokes in
Yeah.
this.
It's very Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Everyone's
Yes.
a target.
Yeah.
Everyone's,
Yes.
everyone's a target, yes, but I think at least in Blazing Saddles, the construction of the joke is a lot more constructed. This one almost feels like they were like, okay, John, you're going to be dressed up as a Hasidic Jew in a synagogue. You got 15 minutes. Go. And
Yeah.
and he's just rattling off whatever he has going on. Because I
Yeah.
was looking into the production of this, and the script was written in like 3 days.
Yeah, this is very much him being he's improvising.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 90% of the film is like kind of riffing, or it's like it's an outline of here's the joke and we're gonna set up and this is
Yeah.
the gag and the punchline and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And some of it's like fucking impressive.
Yeah.
You know, like John Leguizamo is definitely in the key of Jim Carrey, like Ace Ventura,
Yes.
Real Big, Real
Robin
Bombastic.
Williams,
Robin
like kind
Williams.
of like you. Okay, here's the scene. The main joke is we're doing this. Go ahead and do what you ever could do and stuff.
You're a living cartoon.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed by that.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo is a fine actor, a
Mhm.
thespian, if you will.
Yeah.
But
He slayed his Tybalt.
he slayed his Tybalt.
Mhm.
I think it was the same year as this, or the year
96.
before. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These were the years that he was at the
Yeah.
height of his powers.
I think he maybe made this movie early in his career and then it just didn't come out. I think it was like in that little studio wasn't picking it up.
Mhm.
It's like kind of like how Heavyweights was.
Yeah, Heavyweight sat in like what is it, production hell for like
and
2
they had
years.
to kind of like retweak it, re-edit it because Buena Vista picked it up.
Mhm.
And then I think that's what happened with the past because there's some scenes they showed like at the end of the movie. I don't know if you guys watched all the way to the end when the credits are rolling. They're showing a little
I
bit of like
absolutely did, sir.
And
We're
they're
professional.
showing-
I saw the BDSM
Yeah.
scenes.
yeah, and they showed like extended scenes in it and stuff. Like one scene when the son gets bird poop in his eye, and then he starts shooting at Pest when he's swimming off, and like that wasn't in the movie
No.
officially.
Yeah.
But that they showed that so there's a lot of extended stuff that you could tell that they cut to probably get it down to a PG-13 because I feel like this was a R-rated comedy.
Oh, it had to have been a hard R comedy,
Yeah.
unedited. Because
Yeah.
I mean, because the movie's 85 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they probably had to cut like 10 minutes of stuff out of this because
Yeah.
there's so much like just raunchy humor in this that I
Mhm.
can't imagine they did it. I can't imagine didn't lead into harder stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, God, this movie is this movie's gonna be interesting. But why don't we tell the people broadly what's going on in the movie?
yes,
Because
okay.
the movie opens with I'll admit a pretty fun
Yeah.
opening sequence.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo mugging for the camera the best he can, going
in the shower.
In the shower, you know, singing and rapping along to.
He's also telling you about his character as well too. What he does,
yeah.
So you're getting a little bit of exposition in the song as well too.
And we get a fun little. It's a fun opening.
Yeah,
right.
There's costumes.
There's costume
There's
changes. This keys me in that okay, this is one of those like it's a comedy and it's not really a normal comedy. It's a living cartoon.
Yeah.
Right. And it even keys in once he gets out of the shower and he starts meeting his family, and he has that very like dangerous tango with his mom, and the lights are going off.
Yeah.
And it's really weird to talk about because the whole opening of the movie, the whole first like 20 minutes of it, because the movie's pretty short, we're just introducing Pest, and we're seeing that he is like a scam artist, and he's hustling kids for their lunches. Not their lunch money, their lunch is.
Yeah, you're with the fat loser boy. So like, why do they call you that? Well, maybe because I'm fat and I don't ever win. He's like, okay, we're gonna change that. Maybe about not winning. He's like,
part.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like he's a hustler. He's this. He's that. But I'm curious because I think I'll just reveal this. I found him very grating in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you find him endearing at all as a man
as an adult now? Probably not. That's the thing. Overall, though, I mean, I think I rewatched the movie and just thought about just the funny jokes as a kid watching it. But I'm really interested to see what you guys are overall, because you guys are being introduced to this movie now. So like, for me, I still love it, and I know it does have a lot of problems. It does have a lot of production issues, you can tell, or editing issues as well too, because there's some weird edit cuts in here as well too.
There's a few. I'm trying to think if there's any in the beginning that jump out at me, because I know there's the weird thing about like the club, and the club section is like really weird, because there's things that are implied that happen in between the cuts that I'm not sure. Like, did he kill that guy in the bathroom to steal his clothes? Was that a thing?
I don't know. That's the thing. And then like
we'll never know.
The son has been there for like. It feels like he's been there for hours.
Yeah.
Like,
there's also the thing where it's like the Germans, I'm not sure if they have like just arrived or if they've been waiting for him, and the Scots like disappear and come back at certain points.
Did you like when the Scottish mob, that's so funny too.
Yes.
The Scottish mob made him do a Scotty impression.
Yes. God, I love me some Star Trek.
But he's a Trekkie for life.
I know. That's why I was watching it and I was like, I wonder if Dean really liked that scene.
I absolutely loved it. Well,
Okay.
and that even gets into the thing, because we get the idea in this beginning sequence of what the obstacle he's going to need to cross is.
There's a lot of different, because they're telling you, okay, he owes the Scottish mob $50,000. He's having problems with his girlfriend and stuff like that. And I forgot his girlfriend's friend is named Malaria.
Malaria.
Yes.
I'm sitting there.
I had to go back. I'm like, did I hear that right?
I'm like, I've heard a lot of interesting people or interesting names with people. Never heard Malaria.
Right?
That's a new one.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember that reminded me of a joke from a movie called Waiting, where with Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
And then there is
American classic.
Yes. And in the restaurant scene when it's dinner time, you can see one of the patrons that are there. He goes like, "Too bad chlamydia is a venereal disease. I kind of like the name of it." He goes, "Chlamydia. Yeah, I might name my daughter Chlamydia." I'm like, oh my god. So it just immediately made me thought of that. But yeah, that was a choice to name your daughter Malaria.
Definitely a choice. I mean, it could have been worse. You could have named her Herpes.
Yeah.
You know?
Gonorrhea.
For short.
Herp.
Yeah. Gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea. You know what? You could probably get away with gonorrhea.
You could.
Maybe.
Until like later on when your kid hits college, and then like that's really bad.
No, that's how you do it. So like you can make sure your daughter is gonna find the right guy.
Right.
Like as an adult, she's not gonna go floozing it about with these young whippersnappers. But yeah, we get the idea that the Pest has like obstacles that he's gonna have to overcome for the movie. You know, screenwriting 101 has to get $50,000 for the Scots to pay them off, or they're gonna kill him and his whole family. Needs to find a way to like impress his girlfriend's parents, who I don't know how long they've been dating, but he's just meeting them. Also, my god, I can't wait for us to get to that scene. Oh, that's problematic. Lord. Lord, my brother.
Oh my god.
And we get all these things going up, but it also introduces the Germans, played by Jeffrey Jones, which
You know what's
Yikes.
funny is if you take the context of what his character's trying to do, and think of just Jeffrey Jones in general.
Yeah.
You're just like, ooh, no.
Fun fact: my sister thought he was dead.
Oh, really?
She thought he died.
A lot of people did. That's where they're like, wow,
Well, 'cause
you know.
he hasn't been in movies in like
No.
fucking 20 years for good
No,
fucking
he's
reason.
just
By
in
the way.
jail.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
mhm.
But he's in this movie
Yes.
playing like a German, I assume, doctor or something.
I
He's
think-
he's like a neo-Nazi or something like that.
I want to say he has a doctorate. He might be like a professor of some sort because he seems like
Professor
he's
of
like that,
Thugonomics.
right?
Yeah.
A Doctor in Evil.
Yeah,
Dr.
basically
Evil?
Doctor and Evil. Yeah, because and then it's not known, but you can tell he's looking at people. You know, he's in Miami. Mind you, we're in Miami. The
Yeah.
setting here is in Miami.
Miami, 1997.
Yeah. Which
nothing but,
feels
but
very-
asses around.
It's
us.
funny because you look at the setting in Miami in the 90s and it's very liberal. Like I get a liberal vibe from it because now in Florida now.
Well,
it's
Well, that's the
it's
whole
different.
well, that's the whole thing that I
Mhm.
think people like mischaracterize about Florida, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, Miami
Mhm.
and like Orlando, and it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, those are like liberal, whatever, they're big cities.
hmm
But then if you go like
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes north of Miami,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just southern Alabama.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
Alabama with
basically.
beachfront.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with California. If you
Mhm.
just go west of LA,
Yeah.
that is just East Texas.
Yeah, basically.
That is,
Yep.
as
Mhm.
red as the day is long. But yeah, it is weird that it's set in Miami because I'm
Mhm.
not gonna lie, I don't know if they did the opening sequence where it's like
Mhm.
Miami,
No.
present day. I'm like, is this LA, Long Beach?
No, he says Miami in the song.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it's all talked about in the song, which I think that's why the opening's so clever
Mhm.
because you get the
It's a
whole
lot
setting.
of exposition.
Yeah, it's a lot of exposition, but it's all through song, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, in the movie, Pest is trying to gather money, which is funny. He chooses a way to scam people is through acting blind and doing
Mhm.
that turtle shell game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is he going to get $50,000 from doing that? Like, because he needs to give the Scottish mob the money by tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he has like 2 days
Yes.
or something like
Mhm.
that.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to swindle people on the boardwalk in 2 days. Like, no.
No, you would need like 5 other people to do that. You know.
And I'm like, bro, like the level of scamming that he is doing is
Mhm.
like piss poor, like
Mhm.
low level bullshit. Like
Yeah.
Tony Soprano would have been like, this is episode 2, Tony. Well,
Mhm.
you need to be like episode like season 2, Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
If you want to make
Yeah.
50 grand in a day, come on now.
So and then it's
yeah.
never told of how he owes the Scottish mob so much money until the setting changes where he gets caught from being scamming people on the boardwalk,
Mhm.
and then it's we get to him at his real job, which is at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
And then it's told that he
was like gambling debt.
he does like gambling bets. I guess he was trying to run.
He was I think it would have
a
was
booker?
he was a bookie
Yeah.
that was like running the books for the
Mhm.
Scottish mob, and then he I guess couldn't cover his spread,
Mhm.
and they had to like loan him the money to cover the spread,
Yeah.
and now he owes them 50 grand.
Yeah. Okay.
Because as a bookie, you're supposed to like
Yeah.
balance out from like each side or whatever to make sure
Yeah.
you can cover
Mhm.
like both the bets, right?
Yeah.
And then you're making money off like the margins and running it or whatever.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
like the surcharge or
Yeah.
something.
See, that just shows you this is not a kid's movie too, because I just watched that as an adult now, and now I got that.
Now
That's
you
the thing.
understand how
As a
bookies
kid, I'm
work.
just like, oh, he just owes people money. I assumed he just
Yeah.
got in trouble.
You know, it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. Just do more voices. Like, yeah.
Dance, monkey,
Yeah,
dance.
right.
Make me laugh.
Yeah, and oh my god, that whole scene. As soon as he walks in, he's just
Yeah.
dressed up,
Okay,
and yeah,
I'm curious about this. So he works at the Chinese restaurant, like
Mhm.
legitimately, like
Yeah.
that's his job.
Mhm.
Do they think he's Chinese? Does he show up in costume
Mhm.
every day
Yeah.
as a Chinese man
with the mo wig.
with the mo wig
Yeah.
and like
He's a scam artist. Yes,
Yeah.
he's got to keep up with the bit.
he gets a paycheck from this place. They
Yeah.
know his name is Pest Vargas.
Yeah.
They're like, "Are you from?
Mhm.
Are you sure you're Chinese?"
Yeah.
Like, he's talking to his boss, and his boss is like talking to him in Mandarin,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'm from like South China." It's
South.
like,
Yeah,
I'm from
yeah.
South China.
Far,
Far,
he's-
far.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Boys.
my God.
That was a choice. He's
That
like,
was
I'm
a
from
choice.
South.
Yes. Oh, okay. Like that. Another layer of the movie we have to talk about.
Yeah.
So, things about the 1990s comedy scene that
Yes.
would not fucking
No.
fly today.
No,
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So, a vast majority of the comedy in this movie is surrounding like ethnic stereotypes
Yes.
and like gay jokes, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not going out of line saying that's
No.
a vast majority of the comedy.
No,
here.
no, it is. Yeah, it relies on that. You know,
So
the jokes at least.
I mean, we do have, John Leguizamo rubbing his ass on the window to get it back into the mansion.
Like,
So,
he knows what
Right.
he knows what Himmel wants.
right?
yes.
Him. Oh God, that's a character I can't wait to talk
Oh,
about.
we will get there. We will get there.
Oh, Himmel.
So my thing is the comedy of this, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm thinking, like this is Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
No one has original ideas of Hollywood. They're
Yeah.
drawing off of other comedy stuff that
Mhm.
came out, and I'm like, I get a lot of like late stage Ernest movies, which were like
Mhm.
kids movies, fun, whatever.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Ernest Goes to Africa is not the most sensitive film
Mm-mm.
of cinema, and I'm getting like Ace Ventura, and it's like, well, the plot
Mm.
point of Ace Ventura is like, Captain Winky was still there,
Yes.
so I'm like, I'm trying to think, was this
The
just like
Mask.
the Mask? Was this
Yeah.
just the era of like 90s comedy?
I think it was in that time, yeah, because you had a lot of people. You had Chris Farley too doing Black Sheep and Tommy Boy.
Mm.
Okay,
know-
Tommy Boy is a goddamn masterpiece.
No, it
I'll
is.
stop you right
No,
there.
no, but I'm
That
just,
movie is
I'm
aged
just
like
saying,
a fine wine,
I'm
like a
just saying
cognac on the Riviera. And Renee tries to stop me
I'm trying to stop you. 'cause
from
you-
defending Tommy Boy.
No. What I was saying is that in the times for comedies, you basically had to grab a comedian,
Yeah.
and just be like, play this character,
Mhm.
play this character, this eccentric character. Mike Myers, Austin Powers,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, completely.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
I'm-
another one.
I mean, that's like the classic thing from like the SNL stock catalog, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? The end of every like SNL season, like, at least back then, it was like,
Mhm.
okay, which one is the breakout star? Okay, Bill
Mhm.
Murray. All right, cool. We're
Yeah.
gonna put you in a bunch of like comedies
Yeah.
Adam
with
Sandler. Mhm.
Adam Sandler.
Oh my God,
That's
yeah.
another thing.
Yeah.
This is in the same era of like Adam Sandler. Jim Carrey was Living Color, but
Mhm.
same rules
Mhm.
apply here.
Yeah,
So it's like Big Daddy,
Mhm.
or Chris Farley is also this. Man, that
Happy
is-
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Mhm.
It's really interesting that John Leguizamo, because I don't think he was ever an SNL guy. He
No,
had,
he
had
was-
a comedy special.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a couple of comedy specials. He was a comedian. He was a very successful comedian
Mhm.
in his time.
Mhm.
And I think that was it. It was if you did more than like 2 or 3 big shows
Mm.
that were televised or recorded and then did well, you got a movie deal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Unless if you were not in SNL.
yeah, because he had a pretty strong run, but only in like supporting roles
Yeah.
for like
Mhm.
years and years and years. Even like now, I can't
Mhm.
think of a single movie where John Leguizamo is like
The star.
the star, first name on the poster. Is this the only leading movie John Leguizamo's in?
He did a one in the early 2000s, Empire, and that was a gang movie. That was
Okay.
like gangs in like I think in like LA or something like that. But that was it. That was the only other leading role he had.
I can see why.
Yeah,
The past ruined his comedy.
He's
chops.
not a strong actor. That's the thing. But
Do you not think he's a strong actor? I like him in like, I guess Assault on Precinct 13 is a movie that I can think of that he's
Yeah.
a supporting character. No,
Yeah.
he's good in that.
no, he's
or,
good. But that's the thing. In a leading role though,
Mm.
in a leading role, I don't think he can carry it. He is like one of those actors that if he's involved in the movie, he's a support, like you said, supporting
Yeah.
character.
Mhm.
It makes the movie better. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like putting just like ketchup on fries.
I
It's
mean,
like,
he
okay.
was Bruno in Encanto.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I see.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot.
Dean's like, I have no idea.
Not a clue.
Encanto.
Never seen
You gotta watch
Encanto.
Encanto. It's
I
good.
see.
A lot
That's
of
good
feels.
one. Yeah.
I understand.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's. I think it's just the thing because the comedy era of this and
Mhm.
John Leguizamo, and it was almost a thing where movie execs didn't even really care all that much
No.
as long as they were like, you have name value.
Yeah.
Because even the director of this, Paul Miller, he only directs television. I think this is his only
Mm.
theatrical film. He did SNL for like
Yeah.
20 years,
Yeah.
and like he did the entirety of the 80s SNL run.
Yeah.
He did all like the Comedy Central comedy specials. He's big, huge like TV director, but he like John Leguizamo was like, I want to be a movie star, and does the script with his buddy, and they get it to Paul Miller, and they're gonna shoot this movie. And were they just hoping to have another Ace Ventura kind of like explosive box office hit?
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah.
More than likely, because that.
It was.
it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
It was a gamble. I think they were
Mhm.
taking a gamble, and I think it's funny. I think studio execs, when they see a movie, they see it differently. I think that's what it is, because this movie had to go through so many channels of people watching it, and at some point, they kept saying, "No, this is good. Like
Mhm.
this is funny." Yeah, put it out. Let's go ahead and do it.
I have some stuff. Once we're done with the plot and stuff, I have like how much this movie made. I have some of the production hells it went through.
Ooh, I'm excited. I don't know anything about that.
There's some shit. I did some research.
Yeah.
But back to the point at hand. Yeah. So the Germans, Jeffrey Jones, he is Gustav.
Yes.
He is like searching for somebody in Miami. He decides to pick
looking for a Latin person.
Yes,
specifically a Latin person.
Exactly,
but a specimen.
A specimen. And he gets Pest to deliver Chinese food to his house.
Yes.
Pest shows up, and they offer him $50,000 to go through some tests. Right.
Yes.
Because it's basically the most dangerous game.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Also, I love the most dangerous game. Like the story.
Yeah.
I found my, I was going to say my assignment that I had to do for it. Yeah, I had to do a
book report?
Like a book report, something on it. It was like 5 pages. I got an A on that. I was just like, there's a lot here to work with.
Okay.
That's why when we saw, in the movie, I was like, holy crap, it's the most dangerous game.
Yeah, they're doing a dangerous game.
They're doing something here.
Yeah.
I know this.
and it's like really funny because it's like the most dangerous game. We will sign this contract and we will give you $50,000 to hunt you for 24 hours on my private island. And if you survive, you will get it. And I'm like, for $50,000.
Right, I know, yeah.
For $50,000 in the 90s, though.
In the 90s?
$50,000 in the 90s?
I mean, I guess that was...
My fingers are doing a lot of work. I'm doing research while you guys are talking. I'm seeing how much $50,000
in the 90s. Because $50,000 now is nothing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it for no more than like $100,000 at least
off
for me personally.
Off the top of your head, $50,000 for 1997. How much do you think that is now? Because I'm taking my money. It's gonna be $150,000.
I'll double that. I'll do $300,000.
$300,000.
Yeah, I'll do $300,000.
All right, coming in with the answer, Miss Boo.
I'm still working.
She's still working.
Still
she's doing it. So. Pest is not like caring too much about his own livelihood.
He's not questioning it because he's getting the money that he owes. That's the thing.
I think there's also a level where he doesn't think they're like legit about it. Like he's like, oh, they're gonna take me to like some island or whatever. They're gonna like hunt me. They're not gonna fucking hunt me. They're probably gonna like
way of that. Yeah.
They're gonna lather me up in baby oil, take me to a Diddy party. Whatever.
Right?
I'll get $50,000.
Yikes! But I got an answer for that. It'd be $120,000.
Oh, you were close.
That's close.
Yeah.
What did you say?
150.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're close.
$120,000.
$120,000 to be hunted like an animal for 24 hours.
I would have to be really desperate,
like real desperate.
Yeah,
right?
I'd be like nothing's working out in my life. And I guess I would have to be the Pest situation then.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't get $50,000, the Scottish mob's gonna come and kill your family. I mean, I guess I'll be hunted.
Yeah, I guess.
But were they gonna come kill his family, or was it just him?
The Scottish mob threatened to kill his family.
Okay, because I know the Germans, they're like, we have your family, we have Malaria's family, we're going to kill everybody you love.
And that's even at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I think if the Pest just stayed on the fucking island and be like, yeah, you got me, yeah, whatever.
And the rules are, it's like, you just survive. If you survive 24 hours, you get the money. And it's like, okay, well, there's a time lapse, so it's like still more inclined to leaning towards maybe a yes.
I mean, there's also the thing in my head where it's just like, I mean, if you just let me loose on the streets of Miami and you gave me 24 hours, if you gave me a 15-minute head start, I could disappear into the streets of Miami for 24 hours.
Really quick, did you ever watch that movie that Jake Johnson put out about this? It's almost the same concept, but it's I think it's like Swedish people come up to him and they go, okay, you've been chosen to play in this game on the internet, and we have assassins coming after you, but you have to be around people. If you're by yourself, then you're prone to being killed, but if you're with someone, you get to live the whole time. You have to stay within people, stay around people for a week, and if you win, you get like $5 million.
So I just need to stay around somebody?
Yeah, you just have to stay around someone. If you're ever alone, that's when you're prone to being killed.
Oh, that's easy. I gotta walk into a police station and punch out somebody.
There you go. Yeah.
They'll put me in the fucking lockup.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who's like, it's so lonely in jail. It's not that lonely.
No, it's not that lonely.
But you're nice guy Dean. They'd be like, you know what? You're such a good guy. Yeah. Go ahead, go home. And you'd be like, no, please take me.
Just close it.
Granted.
Stop that. Get out.
Maybe slap a cop. It's just like, okay, that earns you 2 weeks in jail. okay.
I mean, it's way longer than the thing. They'd probably beat the shit out of me, but I mean, I'd be fine. I ain't dead.
Again, it's nice guy Dean. They'd be like, that was just the slap in the face I needed to get my life together. Here, let me, take you home, Dean.
It's a funny movie. It's on Hulu. Check it out because it has like a little funny comedic twist in it. Yeah,
like The Pest.
Yes.
Because the Most Dangerous Game is not a news story.
No,
it's a movie that's been used as like back catalogs and whatever for a long time. I think even what is it? I feel like Mel Brooks did like a riff on this at one point. It's a movie. It's a story that people go back to a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how does The Pest, make a unique take on this? Well, first, we have the crazy Nazi son Himmel,
who is just horned up in that room.
Oh my god! Yeah.
How do we describe Himmel? Because he has him and his dad have my favorite joke in the entire movie, like bar none.
Oh really?
He comes in way at the end.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, was it when? Okay, we'll talk about that. I think I know what you mean.
But they take Pest to the island. They're gonna hunt him or whatever. But they're gonna give him a little grace period to get dressed, get ready or whatever.
Yeah.
And he meets Himmel, and I think is Himmel like trying to diddy him? Is he like?
I think
is he trying? He's like, they locked me up in a room with a snake.
He's not. I mean,
now I loves.
He's not into women. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, he's not into women.
He dresses impeccable.
He does. He does have a good taste, and I love his mannerisms too. He's just like this.
He's like a Bond villain.
Yeah, he's like a real life villain, but he's just so not nice, but just kind of friendly, friendly and horny,
feminine and horny and weird.
He's like, yeah, my father locked me in this room with a snake for 2 weeks. He's like,
oh god, this is. Honestly, Himmel is the first person that the Pest seems uncomfortable around. In
right?
The whole movie.
Yeah.
He wasn't uncomfortable around Gustav when they were throwing him through the tests and everything.
Yeah.
He's like, this Himmel guy's about to whip his pecker out. I'm a little uncomfortable.
Yep. Well, here's that baby oil. Like,
God. Okay. The best part about the whole Diddy thing are all the documentaries coming out now. There's a new Diddy doc, I think, every 6 hours since he got arrested.
Yeah. There's even one on Tubi. When I was looking for this movie, I was like, is that a Diddy documentary on Tubi? Like, it says Tubi original. And I'm like, what? When did Tubi get the production to be like,
even
we're going to
Tubi
look
Studios
into Diddy?
are like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
I'm now my real question: do you think Diddy had a Most Dangerous Game situation going on? Could you imagine?
You know what?
Could you imagine?
I think he may have thrown that idea out, and they were like, "No, Diddy, we can't do. That's too crazy. Like
that's too real. That's too real, man."
Yeah.
He's like, "But I bought this fucking dildo gun, man.
Right?
Like, what do you want from me?"
It's just like, no, just keep bringing the children, okay? Like, okay.
We read the story in middle school. No, man, it scarred me for life.
God. So they're finally going to hunt the Pest, and they dress him up for some reason.
They dressed him up in the way of his ancestors.
God, it's so bad.
Yeah, in the way that his ancestors would have dressed up as during the time of whatever time that was.
And I'm over here like he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
like, they're dressing him up as like a Mayan warrior, and I'm like, I don't know enough about history to know if that's accurate.
Yeah,
like I don't want to call shit on that, but I don't know if that flies really.
Yeah. He's wearing like a grass skirt. Well, he's wearing an orange vest and stuff.
Yes.
I love the target on his
The
back.
target, right? Yeah.
He was like, but they gave me my outfit for the hunt. And then Himmel's just like, yeah, your outfit. Then flips it around. He's like, oh, shit, the target.
Yeah. It was funny. It was great. But then they put like black makeup on him, I guess, like the symbols of what his ancestors.
Not blackface. They put a symbol on his face in black makeup.
Yeah.
Like war paint.
Yeah, war paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get to the blackface part of this movie later. Don't worry.
No.
God,
there's already been yellowface.
Yeah, there's already.
Yeah.
And so I remember just watching that. I was like, what? It was really weird. And then they give him like, he's like, you guys have guns. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what do you think they were gonna hunt you with? You know, like
he's like, baby, it wasn't the dildo gun.
Right?
Like I thought that was what was up.
And they give him like a Swiss Army knife with like a thing of rope, which is like.
I love how the rope is like 4 inches long.
Yeah,
like it is a useless piece of rope.
Mm-hmm. And then they give him like, I guess it's a one-shot gun.
It's like a little Derringer.
Yeah, just a little ball in it, right? It's not even a bullet. It's like a ball.
No, well, Well, there's like a bullet that goes in there. A Derringer is like a little like 1 or 2 shot, like 22 pistol.
Yeah.
They called them like ladies' guns or whatever back in the olden times because if you were a lady of the night back in the Old West, they were small enough you can hide it in like your garter or whatever, or garter or your corset or whatever. So if somebody gets so if somebody tries to like rob you or walk in or whatever, you had a pistol, you can like yeah.
He had it coming.
He had it coming. He had it coming. We'll do Chicago next episode.
We gotta do Chicago sometime.
Yeah. Never seen Chicago.
You've never seen Chicago?
I've never seen Chicago either.
Never seen Chicago.
Oh my god, you guys gotta watch Chicago.
But yeah, probably. But yeah, so they begin the game, and because Gustav and like he was okay getting rid of the pest. He didn't want to really hunt him, but he was like, this guy is so fucking annoying.
Yeah,
I must rid the world of this pest. That's why he wants to hunt him, not because he's a prime specimen, just because he's kind of annoying.
Yes.
And then I'm like, yeah, he's a little grating, but he's not that annoying. Then the pest meets the snake.
Yes.
And I'm like, God, this is a long sequence with John Leguizamo and a rubber snake. Can you defend the rubber snake?
I can't. No,
you can't.
Yeah,
no?
I actually forgot about that until I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is going on for long." Like, he even pulls it up and then just starts playing it like a harp, and then just jiggles his waist around it, so it's like moving around. And I'm like, yeah, this is too much.
But I think he might have, put that in the movie. Hey, we need to keep the scene longer because the snake that they did have on set did bite him in one of the takes.
Oh, really?
The one that's crawling up his leg.
Oh,
yeah. One of the takes, it actually did bite him in the leg.
Wow.
So I was like,
how freaky is that?
I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, the freaky thing is that the animal handler had to like yank it off of him, and he had to go to the hospital to get the fang removed.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's because the snake broke the fang off in his leg.
Oh, that's crazy.
And John Leguizamo was like, I'm a fucking actor.
Yes.
Back to the set.
Right.
Thespian.
Boys, round him up.
Put me back out.
I'm a thespian.
Right.
Which, God, bro, you got a fucking fang stuck in your thigh for this scene, for this bit.
Movie, yeah.
Everything after that is a rubber snake.
I think he really thought this was going to be something for him.
It had to,
Yeah.
right?
Because I have that mentality of like, yeah, snake bit me on this movie, but it's gonna. I gotta finish it.
Because
like,
this was filmed in April of '96. And
Oh, really?
'96 was when Romeo and Juliet came out, so it was probably a thing where okay, I've been in this huge drama piece, and now this is my Ace Ventura moment.
Well,
and that was kind of.
Well, I mean, even if you think about it, right? Because '96, like Romeo and Juliet comes out, and then the year after that, that's when Titanic drops. So you got to think about it. It's like, oh, '96, Romeo and Juliet. Oh, fucking Leo. He's going on to do this or whatever. I think the gentleman who played Mercutio, Mercutio, he goes on to like star in Oz, which is like the year after, I think is when that starts. And he's like, oh, all these guys are going up. I can hit that fucking like sizzle on the skillet and like get my own thing going on. Some make Titanic, some make The Pest,
right?
What have you.
That was a choice.
It was a choice. It was a choice. But then the pest gets a little upset's tummy, has a nice big old, takes a big old dumper.
Because he drank the champagne. They took a toast to champagne.
They took a toast to champagne.
That comes into play later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that champagne really messed up his tummy.
Yeah, it did.
And he's fighting with some stock footage of a deer.
Yeah.
It got very Ed Wood.
Yes. See that when
and
you
start making noises of him taking a crap as well too.
Yeah. When you were talking about the production issues of this movie, where it's like, oh, you can tell there's some production, this and that or whatever. Yeah, the stock footage of the deer, I'm like, this is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen that on like some nature doc. Or
yeah,
whatever.
that's a thing. Yeah.
But then Gustav and Himmel find him, and they're like, I got a way to kill him. I'm gonna use this blowgun. Oh, let me load it, and then instead shoots an RPG. And
RPG goes off from his back.
Yeah, RPG explodes him. They think he's dead, and then the pest manages to sneak his way back to the manor that they're hiding in. Gustav's pretty sure Pest is still alive, which he is, so he's still out hunting. But Himmel's back at the fucking manor drinking or whatever,
watching Hogan's Heroes,
because Nazis. And I don't really get this, because the pest convinces Himmel to be on his side to take him back to Miami. But then Himmel, for the rest of them, it's only this scene where they're like, yo, we're cool, man. You and me, we're going to get out of here. And then everything after that, he's like, you know what, fuck the pest. I'm going to shoot this motherfucker.
Right? Yeah.
But they get on the boat, like they're both throwing up. You see dedication to the craft.
I
They throw up in each other's face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Becky over
Yeah.
there. Well, if somebody threw up in your face, would it be just the end of the film?
Just dead.
It'd be over.
That's it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
germophobia would have caught
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
But he abandons Himmel for no real reason.
Yeah, there's no indication to show that like Himmel's making him feel more uncomfortable than he already is, or kind of showing that like Himmel has his own secret agenda, or Pest is catching on to like, oh well, he wants to. He's gonna just kill me after this. No, he just kind of like, oh, I keep an eye out for those seagulls if I was you. And then just cracked his eye.
He gets a seagull to poop on Himmel's eye, and then the Pest is like, all right, later, bye guy. And
That's
just,
my cue.
And swims off.
Got a blast.
Got it. Yeah, got a blast. And he swims off, and he gets back to Miami. And this is, I guess, the
To his
second
friend's pool party.
Yeah,
his friend's pool party.
right? Yeah,
right there, perfect.
Yeah,
And this is the other half of the movie. The first half, it's like, oh, it's the most dangerous game on an island. Now it's most dangerous game in Miami.
in Miami. Yeah.
And this is where I start kind of drifting away,
Right?
a little bit.
Yeah, it does. The movie does kind of make you feel like, oh, okay, like it's not going anywhere after this.
Because it's almost like the stakes are like, I kind of forgot the stakes because it's like, okay, he still owes like 50 grand to the
Yeah.
Scots, but like, but
He's getting hunted.
he's getting hunted, and he's gonna win because they're not gonna find him in Miami. And there's like layers to this where I'm like, I don't know what's really going on, but he's like, you know what? I got to go back to that other plot thing that I need to get and go to my girlfriend's dinner.
Yeah.
And I got to impress her family, her strong African American family, by showing them the cultural roots of my own African American ancestry.
Right.
And I swear, they opened the door.
Yep.
And John Leguizamo's there in a fucking dashiki with the beads, in a fro and the glasses, and I'm like, if John Leguizamo put blackface on in this scene, he would have been canceled in 1997.
I think
it would have been 97 where it began the canceling.
I think that was like on the idea board, and they were like,
No, John, it's too much.
"No, John, we can't do it." No,
Have you ever seen? It's like an episode of I think it's The Office, where it's like where it's like, oh, we're about to go and dress up.
It's
as
the Christmas
Yes.
episode. Yeah,
It's the Christmas episode, or it's like a Halloween or
and
something
Dwight,
like that.
Yeah, Dwight's Christmas tradition involves a person in blackface.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, "No, Dwight," and he's like, "Come on, guys, these are traditions passed down for hundreds of years. Do you really think we're gonna celebrate every single one?" He's on his phone, just
texting like, don't do it.
Yeah,
and then it
it's-
cuts and it's
yeah.
Michael in the bathroom, be like,
No,
son of a
it's
bitch.
the guy that works in the warehouse. He turns around and
Oh,
goes
yeah,
back
it's
to the
that bald
car.
dude,
He's
yeah.
just like,
he's all
like,
gets
nope.
a text. But then it's like you said, you see him in the next scene, and there's still remnants
on his neck.
It's
Yeah.
just
on
on
his
his
neck,
neck.
yeah.
Like he just only had enough time to wipe it off his
Yeah.
cheeks and stuff.
It's just like, oh man.
It would have been the layer of comedy to this if John Leguizamo did that, and you can just see the shoe polish just
Oh,
on his neck. Like he was
Yeah.
like halfway through, he's like, nah, this ain't gonna fly. But this is definitely the most like uncomfortable shit in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Because like her parents are like normal as fuck.
yeah, they're
Oh.
very like.
Because every other adult we've seen has been
yeah.
like a layer of cartoony nature
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah, they're very much like just your average
Run
parents.
of the mill parents. Yeah.
Yeah, run of the mill parents. Yeah.
And he's in her dad, played by Miles Dyson.
Oh yeah.
Of Terminator 2
I
fame.
can't hold it. That scene still sticks with me.
Yes.
Just his breathing.
God, Terminator 2 is a fucking banger. Should watch that instead. But he's like that boy's on drugs.
I know the
And
whole
he's-
time.
That boy's
He's
on
got
fucking drugs.
syphilis.
And his like, it is so funny. He's dressed up in the dashiki or whatever. And she's like, "Hey, I made you some nice like Cuban food or whatever."
yeah.
And he's
Which
like,
is nice. That's
Yeah.
very
Nice.
thoughtful.
you know. And he's like, "Bitch, do I look Cuban to you?"
Why Cuban?
Sorry.
He's all like,
Mm-mm. He said, "Biatch, do
Oh,
I
yeah.
look
Yeah.
Cuban to you?" Had to
Yeah.
do
This is the 90s.
biatch.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the 90s.
biatch.
And then's when he starts yelling. He's like, "I'm Puerto Rican. I'm this. I'm that." Da 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 da.
Mhm.
And then she's just staring at him like, "Oh God, I really hope this scene ends soon."
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
You're pay.
You're cringy. Yeah. You're like,
That actress looks like. God, he's so lucky I didn't save my money.
right,
Oh God, why did I have to buy that new house? God damn it.
right.
And this is when there's I didn't really get this. So there's a tracking device in his underwear.
I guess so. They put it in the underwear that they gave him. I guess he's still wearing it. Like that's another thing too, is that apparently he's still wearing the same underwear since he's been on the island.
Man doesn't change his drawers.
Yeah, and apparently it didn't overheat in the ocean, but he's sweating, he's nervous, and
Or the
apparently,
pool party.
Or the pool party. No, it's sweating now at the when he's having dinner with his girlfriend's parents.
Yes. So they're tracking him based off a heat sensor in his underwear, and then it eventually gets so hot that he has to go dunk his balls in the toilet in front of her family.
Yeah.
He derobes in front of her.
And then returns to the family dinner in the mom's robe.
Yeah.
And just like, so what's going on? Let's just enjoy this lovely dinner.
He says, and then he tries to pass it off of like, oh yeah, that's what I get for buying extra strength fungal cream. So it's like, oh god. And then you have Hyman looking at the thing that's overheating. He's, oh, boost the power. He's
Boost the
like,
power.
yeah,
trying to light his balls on fire.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And the Germans finally get to the house. They finally get there, right?
Yeah.
They attack. They knock everybody out with a tranquilizer gun.
Yeah, he has like a 5-barrel tranquilizer dart gun. He's just using it on other people too. That's the whole
Looking
gag.
like Elmer Fudd, showing up.
That's the gag too. He's just like, okay, it's a 5-1, so I got plenty of shots. He aims it at pass. Someone comes in, boom, and they get knocked out.
Here,
Someone comes in
wabbit,
again,
wabbit,
boom.
wabbit.
His friend Ninja comes out, gets him. Oh, Himmel walks through the door, shoots him. He's like, God damn it, son.
Yeah.
And it's a thing. It's like a funny gag.
It's
a funny gag, and Pest is like, I'll stop you, and shoots like 6 shots out of his one-shot Derringer. And he's like, Could you like come out again? I really need a better aim here.
Yeah.
No, I love Malaria's dad when he comes into the room and he's like, "Oh God, my family!
Oh,
Please
what you
don't."
doing, my family? I know. He's all like, oh yeah, where's the Tums or the Pepto Bismol? You know, Latin food gives me gas. He's all like,
God.
I was like, oh my god.
So now the Pest is on the run, so he's like, okay, like we'll leave Ninja here because he's not the real friend. So me and
Right?
Chubbs are gonna like drive out.
He's not. Oh no, but then he's his best friend later.
Best friend later, so they can leave him with the Scots.
Right.
So they're like on the run. They're being chased by the Germans, and they're like, okay, we need to find a place to hide, and they hide. This is a scene that I don't know why it's in the goddamn movie, because it's when they hide in the synagogue.
Oh yeah,
because it's like, oh, we'll hide there. They go into the synagogue.
Yeah.
They just shit on the Jews for like a scene, and they're like, all right, that's not gonna work, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you couldn't have just like sat in the back, my guy, just vibed.
And one of the Scots is there for the bar mitzvah.
Right?
Yes.
Just randomly
Apparently,
in the crowd.
apparently the Scottish mob have like a lot of just like people around.
In every building,
building,
every
church,
facility, they're just someone posted there.
Yeah.
I just loved the image of this guy with this giant, bright red, bushy Scottish beard and the yarmulke.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that yarmulke's fucking plaid. And it's very funny.
Well, he's committing to the bit.
Committing to the bit.
He's Scottish.
Yeah.
You know, but they're like, okay, fuck that, we'll go to the club. And they're like, we'll get into the club, and we'll just hide out there. There'll be so many people, they won't be able to find us. And then they get into a little spat.
I guess
riff off.
I guess it's a riff off, or I guess would be.
It's a base off, I guess.
A base off, yeah. With like
It's pretty base.
with like the three white dudes.
very racist white dudes too.
Yes.
That's the thing. They look at
Yes.
Pest and they look at his friend of color as well too, and they're just like, yeah, man, you guys can go through the back, through the service door. And I'm just like, wow.
Also, I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
They're saying some pretty fucked up racist shit. I'm like, John Leguizamo did far more racist
Right?
shit for the
That's
last
true.
40 minutes of this goddamn
Yeah.
movie. Did you see him in the Hasidic Jew uniform
Yes.
the scene before? But yeah, so they get into a spat where they kill all the white people.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the power of bass.
With the power of
Yes.
bass and hip hop.
in hip hop.
Yeah.
And the listener out there might be wondering what the fuck that means. And I'm going to say again, it was the power of hip hop that killed white people.
Yes.
Watch the scene and you'll understand what I mean.
Yeah. You can watch it free on YouTube. There you
Free
go.
on YouTube.
Yeah. Don't
And
have to
even
spend
when you
money.
do watch it, you probably still won't understand what really happened here.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But they do. Pest does rob their dead corpses. Just
Oh yeah, he
steals
gets
wallets.
takes their wallets, and I think it takes their tickets to
Yep.
go inside the club.
Because you need tickets to get inside the Paris nightclub.
Exactly. And they get into the Paris nightclub, and there's Scots there. And instead of leaving, they're like, we're just gonna vibe here though.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. They're
Even
not
though it
looking
looks
for
like
us.
Scarface, it's like, what's going on
I just
here?
gotta change my outfit.
The Paris nightclub is actually the club from Scarface.
It is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Also,
Oh.
also Gustav's house is also the house from Scarface.
Oh,
Because
okay.
because I think a chunk of this movie was actually filmed in like Miami.
Yeah,
Miami.
on location. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Scarface, The Pest, great representation
Right.
of Miami
Mm.
and Cuban Americans. You know,
Right.
Pest is like, but I'm Puerto Rican. It's fine.
Right.
So they get in there and Pest manages to like get around and like hide. We get him probably killing a man in a bathroom to take his clothes, a Japanese man. He sings some karaoke. Himmel's very
Oh yeah, he's no longer
Taken by it.
he's no longer doing a Chinese. He's doing a Japanese.
Yes.
Japanese.
Yeah.
The Germans are there and they're going through and like searching for him because the tracker's there.
The Scots are there.
Scots are there.
Everyone's there.
Ninja manages to make it back. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of fun
Yeah.
bits. But it all ends with the Scots take Ninja, his friend Ninja, and the Germans have now figured out where Pest's family is and have taken his family to the docks.
Well, I mean, you're kind of glazing over that part where
Glazing over?
You're glazing over
Glazing
that
over.
part.
Not glossing over, glazing
Yeah.
over.
This
Yeah.
movie, you're glazing over that part where they get past Chubb and Ninja in the back of the car, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah, the
okay.
limo. Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, you got to pick either one of your friend you're gonna leave. And he's like,
Yeah.
you take my best friend Ninja. And him and Chubb are on the curb, and he's like, wow, I thought I was your best. He goes, you are. That's why I
Yeah.
gave up Ninja for
That's
you.
why I chose Ninja for you. That's
And,
why I chose
homie
Ninja.
move.
I was like, dang,
I was
this
like-
guy just likes to gaslight people. Like,
Jeez.
I'm like-
Pest is an awful friend.
yes.
Would you
I
be
thought about
friend-
that, and I thought, I'm like, that'd be you with Greg. You'd be like, I sold one of the other dudes down the river because you're my guy. I've always known.
Okay. Would Pest be a good friend? Would you
Fuck
be friends
no.
with Pest?
No,
no,
absolutely
it
not.
wouldn't last a week if I met that guy and just like him hearing all his scams.
It wouldn't last a minute. I'd be
yeah,
like, no.
I'd be like, no, this guy's toxic.
The first toxic. He's a toxic friend.
He's a toxic
Yes.
friend.
The first impression he does of Scotty, you'd be like, I'm out, my guy. I fucking.
Why'd you do that impression I love so much?
He would do a funny voice. I'd grab by the collar. I'm like, I'm the fucking funny voice guy.
Yeah.
Here. Back the fuck up. It's like, I got one thing in this friend
Yeah,
group.
right? This is me.
I'm the funny one.
Oh, this is me. Hi, ta, 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 ta. But yeah, so the Pest gets away, and now he's trying to figure out what to do next because his only real idea is, well, I need to get 50 grand to pay the Scots. The only way I can do that is if I confront Gustav and the Germans and whatnot and get my 50 grand from them. So he's gonna go and he's gonna
They go get some burgers.
get some burgers, and they're gonna go to the docks
Mhm.
in camo. I don't know where they got the costume change, but
Right,
they're in
yeah.
costume. And then they reenact. I think it's, God, I think it's Hunt for Red October. The fight in the fucking
yeah.
when they're in the bowels of the ship or whatever, where it's like, oh, we have the
Yeah.
fucking
The
walkie over
walkie-talkies.
here, and
Yeah.
he's trying to bounce him around or whatever.
Mhm.
And it all is like, oh, cool, we're gonna have a nice action beat.
Mhm.
Nah, there's not. There's no action in
No,
this
it's
movie.
just
A cat and mouse game.
yeah, that and just
We're
John
back to
Leguizamo doing,
Looney Tunes.
doing voices again. Yeah.
Mhm. But it eventually ends where finally Pest has the upper hand.
Mhm.
He's got the gun on Gustav or whatever. Haha,
Yeah.
we got you. And then Gustav's like, huh, joke's on you.
Right.
You've been poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
I've been poisoned.
Yeah.
But if I was poisoned, could I do this?
Mhm.
And he starts just breaking it down
Yeah.
to
He starts
no.
dancing.
He starts dancing.
Yeah. Which is the
It
weird
starts
because
reversing.
yeah, I was
going
gonna say
forward.
they do that, and they do that like 3 times in that whole scene.
Where I'm like, did they not have enough footage of Leguizamo dancing? They had
Right,
to
yeah.
No,
like,
it's the
run forward or
90s.
backwards.
Yeah.
It's the 90s. That was the style.
I was waiting for the record scratch
So
at
was I.
there, and Pest
Yeah.
being like, "You might be wondering how I ended up here."
Hmm
And then it's like, if you were wondering,
Yeah.
rewind the movie all the way back to the beginning and
Mhm.
figure it out yourself.
Mhm.
But yeah, it eventually ends. Pest like falls over. He's dead. Gustav's laughing. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Also, all the money is at my safety deposit box at this bank, but you know,
That won't do
that
him
won't
good.
do
Yeah.
him any good. Whatever. And this is where the funniest bit of the movie is, where Gustav shoots Himmel. Talk back.
Because they get into an argument.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chubb is like, dude, I can't believe you shot your own son. And he's like, oh, it's fine. He's wearing a bulletproof vest, and Kimmel gets up.
Comes up.
It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
That made me
That was
laugh.
the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a legit like
Doesn't
laugh
mean
out
it
loud
doesn't
moment.
hurt. I know, that was great.
But yeah, and then we get to the ending of the movie.
Yes.
Yes. What happens in the end? What is the
Well-
pest grandmaster scam?
So Gustavo goes back to the bank to get his money out.
Because he's leaving for Germany.
He's going back to Germany.
Going back home.
You know,
Just home
Ja,
country.
ja.
Ja, ja.
And goes into the safety deposit box, but finds there is nothing there but a phone. Or is it a phone? Or is
It's
it
a
It's
note.
It's a
no that
note.
says answer the phone.
Yeah, answer the
It's
phone.
97. We don't have cell
Yeah,
phones
no,
yet.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he answers the phone, and guess who's behind it?
It is the best.
It's the beast.
Oh.
He's behind it, and he's telling him, "Oh yeah, I got everything in the safety deposit box." He goes like, "How are you alive?" He goes, "Well, I kind of threw it up when I was on this boat with your son." He's like, so I was like, okay, at least they explained that away,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, yeah, and there was a lot more than $50,000 in there. So, and he's like, oh, and I've also told about he tells him that he's told the embassy of his extracurricular activities.
Mhm.
And so now the police are there and stuff. And then they're taking him out of the bank. Lo and behold, P.S. he goes, yes, because I've told the ambassador of what you've been doing, and now the ambassador has basically taken away your diplomatic immunity. I like to do that for Lethal Weapon 2. Yeah, I can't say it now, but yeah,
Moment has passed.
yeah, moment has passed, and basically you see Pest in just like, I guess he looks like the Monopoly guy.
Yeah.
Oh god, he's got the I love how Leguizamo didn't change his hair at all. It's
No.
still the spiky pest
Yeah,
haircut.
he's got
He
the
just has
monocle.
mustache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the monocle, mustache, and the outfit. And he's just like kind of walking down the steps, and then you see Gustav being carried away. And he's like, "There he is, right there." He's all, and then the pest is saying in a terrible German accent, or not even an accent of German. It's just something because he's
I
rolling
don't
his
know.
R's. He goes, "If I was the ambassador, he's
Yeah.
all like, could I
mean,
do this?"
And I think he kisses him,
Kisses-
licks him,
Slaps him around.
rubs up against him. I would say he commits some assaulting
Yeah.
on this guy. But it ends
It ends. It finally ends.
with Pest with the money, his
Yep.
friends riding off into the sunset
In the
Oh, yeah.
Jeep.
in the Jeep,
that famous Jeep.
that
Yep.
famous Jeep. And then we get
Ninja's been returned.
Ninja's been returned
Yes.
in a kilt.
In a
He's in a
kilt.
kilt. Yeah.
Who knows what kind of night he had?
Right.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's funny.
And then we get the credits play out with the music from the beginning
yeah.
and a lot of additional footage that wasn't in the movie because
No,
there's like
yeah.
stuff from other gags,
Yeah.
whole scenes that just aren't in it. But
Mhm.
that is the pest.
That is the pest.
That is the pest. Now,
So okay, really quick, did you guys
Sure.
enjoy it in any sort of way, or overall, what would you give this movie?
Becky, please, ladies first.
It was all right.
Yeah, you want to watch it again, right?
It's probably a one and done for
Yeah,
me.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if I was a kid watching this,
Mhm.
maybe because
You probably because you watch it as a kid.
yeah, I watched as a kid. You know, I grew up watching Ace Ventura, Austin Powers.
Yes.
So yeah, but as an adult, like, ooh, a little problematic. But it's also John Leguizamo, just like, bro, chill.
You're right.
Like, please,
You
like
can
you're
tell
driving me
He's,
crazy.
he's trying a little hard in
Yeah.
this movie. Dean?
Yeah. Overall, I would say that I completely understand why people would like it.
Mhm.
Like, I get it. It's like sophomore humor.
Mhm.
Like, I can imagine, like, you're a teenager and you just want to hear like offensive jokes or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get behind it.
Mhm.
But like watching it now,
Mhm.
I think it's a thing where there's a few gags in the movie where I'm like, oh, okay, no, I get that. That's funny. There's a couple of one-liners that I'm like, I laughed at.
Mhm.
I think there is a thing where watching it, I could just not get behind the pest character so much because, like, John Leguizamo, like you said, is trying real
Yeah,
hard.
That's the thing. Yeah.
He's trying really hard, and I think I would probably watch it again if I'm being completely honest. I'd
Yeah.
probably watch it one more time.
Yeah. Like a year from now, I'd be like, let's check it
I
out.
might watch it tomorrow, to be honest. Just like get another like whiff of the film, get the first one,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, there's something funky in there, try it again.
Yeah.
Because like there's energy to it, and I can tell they're having a good time making
Yeah.
it. I just can't like. I don't know if there's something where I'm just not getting all of the films trying to present to me as an audience
Yes.
member. So I mean, I would say it's not great,
Mhm.
but it's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
true.
worse
Yeah.
movie from '97.
That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, but do you still love
I
this movie?
I still
With a
like it.
passion?
No, not with passion, but I mean,
With gusto.
yes, and I've watched it with my girlfriend. I showed it to her because she's never seen it, and it was funny. I showed it to her 2 years ago, and then I had to watch it again for the podcast. So I'm like, you want to watch it with me again? She goes, no, I didn't like that movie. I was like, okay, no, that's fine. I go, I'm not gonna push the past because I've told her, like, I know what type of movie it is. You either like it or you don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I thoroughly still like it. It's mostly just because of nostalgia for me. Just for the jokes. I think overall, I mean, I'll watch it again, but it's not like a movie that I'll watch every day.
It's not a stone cold
No,
classic.
no,
It's
yeah.
definitely we'll go back to.
Yeah, I'll go back to if it's still on Tubi, I'm like, or if it's on sale on Vudu, or was it Fandango at home now? If it's like on sale for like less than $5, I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll buy it. That's it. But that's it. Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, I guess we're in the sense of like we're kind of divided a little bit, where it's like there's. Okay, I'm not going to say we're divided. We're all kind of agree. Yeah, the movie has some fun points to it, but overall, it's not a great film.
No.
Yeah.
But on release, even people at the time were kind of in the same camp, where there's there's some fun bits on it, but it's not all there.
Yeah.
Even like the test audiences and the test screenings were, this is great. People watched the movie and they were like, yeah, I fucking hate Pest. He's an awful person.
Yeah.
So they went back and the basketball scene where it's like, oh, Pest is helping the fat kid.
Oh, that was a reshoot?
That was a reshoot.
Oh, wow.
That was a reshoot that they added into the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, and going into like the production of this, because Universal had this really old deal back in the day where it's like, look, if you can pitch us a bunch of stuff, if it would come in under this number, that number being like $8 million or whatever. John Carpenter had this deal. That's how they got like They Live made and all that stuff. If you pitch us something and it's under this amount, we'll fund the movie, because it's like, if it's under this amount, we can make money on it on home video and this and that or whatever.
Yeah.
This was part of that deal.
Oh.
So it was made for like $8 million.
Okay.
And, okay, it looks like an $8 million movie, whatever. Releases it, they go through all the production stuff.
Yeah.
People had a lot of problems with it. They were like, fuck, this is way too raunchy, but it's way too brash and colorful to be like for adults. Okay, cut the BDSM scene, because that's in the credits where there's whips and chains.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Yeah.
And like, leather mommies in there. And they cut that out, trying to bring it down to PG.
Was that one of the places they try to hide?
I think so.
Because it was just John Leguizamo and Ari Spears in that scene.
Yeah.
In that clip, yeah.
Which is fun. I like Ari Spears. He's funny.
Ari Spears is great. Yeah.
I
He's not
like,
bad. I loved it in Mad TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's great, Mad TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how they call his nickname is Chubby in here, and I'm like, he ain't fat yet.
No.
He's like a built dude.
He's
What the fuck?
just a normal dude. Yeah. What a normal 30-year-old man would look like.
Wait
Yeah.
like 3 years, man. Come on.
Right?
Shit. But yeah, so they didn't really know what to do with the movie, so they were like, okay, fuck it. We'll cut all the like super raunchy shit, bring it down to like PG-13,
Yeah.
market it as like a black comedy kids movie or whatever. It's bright, it's colorful, Leguizamo will look funny, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And they did that, and movie finally got released. I want to know. Like,
Oh,
it's
how
an
much it made?
$8 million budget.
Yeah.
They released this, the prime of 1997, in the wake of the Titanics.
Oh, God.
How much money do you think this movie made?
Ooh. I want to say short.
Wait.
Yeah.
Before I forget, this movie only lasted in theaters for 1 week.
No, it was pulled after 6 weeks.
Was it 6 weeks?
Was it 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
After 6
Dang.
weeks.
Pulled after
That's
6
still
weeks.
really short.
Yeah.
Incredibly short.
That's super short. Wow. That's less than 2 months.
Yeah.
Dang.
So in 6
I want
weeks,
to say less than 500,000.
less than 500,000. Ooh, okay. Your thoughts?
I'm gonna go $2,000.
$2,000. Wow.
Just lower.
You guys would be perfect for the movie that co-released with this. I think it's called Slappy and the Stinkers or something like that.
I love that movie as a kid.
It stars
yeah.
BD Wong.
Yeah.
That
The way
movie-
Renee lit up as soon as he said that.
Yeah.
You might be the only person that saw that movie. 'Cause
Yeah.
that movie was in the same deal with this. So,
Yeah.
you pitch us something, $8 million,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
The movie made $80,000.
80 grand. Wow.
The Pest was a success compared to that. Made $3.6 million in 6 weeks.
Really?
Wow.
Against an $8 million budget
Okay.
in wide release across like the nation.
That's
Yeah.
still pretty good. That's the thing. For being a movie that was in for 2 months and for getting the
Month and a half.
Yeah, month and a half. At least the rendition it was getting, at least the test screening, and it still made over 1 million. I wasn't confident that would make over 1 million, but it did.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Huh.
I mean, granted, it's one of those things where it probably was just like just torn away by critics, and it made most of its money in opening weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where it's like, well, Leguizamo had like an amount of name value in that at that point, you know,
he's known. Yeah.
known. So it's like, oh, because I think in its first week it made like 1.8, and then it was just half every week after that, and it was probably a thing where it's like, no one's coming back to see this movie. Let's just cut our losses. But yeah, that is the release of The Pest.
Wow.
And then it found Renee.
Yeah, then it found Renee, and then that's
a
the
young
thing.
Renee.
Right?
Renee.
I've talked to people about this movie sometimes that have seen it at least once in their lives, and it's the same thing. Like, oh, I watched it as a kid and stuff like that, or I've watched it one time and never watched it again. And that's the thing. I just know that this movie probably did make not a lot of money, but a good amount of money in the VHS release, probably because it was being rented. You know, Blockbuster, video stores, they still make money when movies are being rented and stuff like that.
That's a thing that is just like, God, I miss that old model of movies, because I think it was like Matt Damon was talking about that, where it's like, why are like no mid-budget movies coming out anymore or whatever, and it's like, well, because back in the day, you can make a movie that didn't light up gangbusters in the theater, but it would live for like 10 fucking years on VHS. Yep. All those rentals go back to the studio.
I didn't realize how much a VHS was back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It was expensive for a VHS. I did not realize that.
What is it? Like, I think back in the day, if you bought a VHS off the rack, right?
Fresh.
Fresh. I think it was like $80.
Yeah.
Right? That's why everyone owned Top Gun, because Top Gun had a deal with Pepsi where Pepsi ate half of the cost for like the VHSs, right? And because it was part of like a Pepsi promotion, all this other stuff. I think, remember, there was like the win a fighter jet or whatever. It was kind of the Top Gun. Yeah. There was a whole documentary about it or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's why the Top Gun VHS was like $20 back in whenever the fuck it was released. Yeah. And that was the first like VHS that was generally affordable for people to just buy off the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like kind of how a lot of, you know, remember like Godzilla had a Taco Bell tie-in, and Taco Bell was like, we'll eat half the cost of your VHS release if you will put a Taco Bell logo or a Taco Bell ad on the preview of every one of your VHSs.
And that's why we see a lot of product placement in movies back in the day.
Menace.
Phantom Menace,
the Diet Coke.
That's right, Diet Coke.
That was one of the best promotions at Taco Bell.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah, but it's like interesting. Like The Pest is a movie where if The Pest was made now, right? You know, we'll putting aside all the stuff that would definitely get this movie famous on the internet.
This would be a movie that would go straight to Netflix.
Straight to Netflix, would get 2 weeks, a month of like airtime and never seen again.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing that The Pest exists as it does now, where it's like, maybe not a cult classic. I can imagine this is like Monster Squad. We're like, yo, guys, like, fucking, we'll get a couple beers, we'll make fun and watch The Pest.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing that because of the VHS market, because of like kids growing up, because it's like, you know, like, you're going to the Blockbuster and it's like, well, my mom said I can get 3 movies and I've seen all the Terminators now. We're going to go to The Pest. So it's a beautiful thing that this movie had the legs it did and lived on, even if I don't find the movie the Citizen Kane of the Leguizamo universe.
Yes.
It wasn't a total bust for the film, but it still lived on in VHS sales.
Yeah. But that brings us, I think, to the end of The Pest.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about the film?
I do have one boo fact. I haven't done this in a while.
Oh, shit.
But it's a new month. And I'm going to drop this fact because I'm even surprised by it. When they were casting the movie, someone auditioned to be Himmel.
Oh, a well-known person?
A very well-known person.
It's going to be Johnny Depp.
Well,
it's Batman.
No, it was actually a co-star to John Leguizamo. Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy? You know what?
Okay.
I think Jamie Kennedy would have put his own flair in Himmel.
Yeah. Well, we would get that years later in Malibu's Most Wanted.
Okay. Malibu's Most Wanted.
I saw that in the theater.
Right?
Man. I saw that when that went to DVD. I remember that, and we watched it so many times.
That was a Comedy Central fucking standard for like a decade.
Yeah.
Malibu's Most Wanted is like the good version of this movie.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the one where it's just like, okay, it has a point, it's gonna work, and like it's offensive, but it's still like, no, we understand that Jamie Kennedy's Malibu's Most Wanted character is offensive. That's why everyone else calls him a fucking dipshit.
Yes. Malabute?
Malabute. You gotta keep your pin pan strong. So, like, I think one of my favorite lines, really quick, from that movie is when he does that whole shootout with the other gang members, and they're coming up to him, and he's like, "Where'd you learn all that? Grand Theft Auto? You know, PS2." He's like, "Oh man, no, I don't have that." He goes, "I got
Gamecast.
I got Gamecast." He goes, "What do you mean, like Sega Dreamcast
Or the
like
GameCube.
GameCube?" He's like, "Man, I got Gamecast. Can't afford it."
And he just looks kind of like, oh shit, like I'm so sorry.
Okay.
God. When he goes into like rob the convenience
Oh
store
my
and they're just like,
God.
oh,
I'm so glad you got money, because if you're trying to steal me food,
I was gonna lay you out with
This.
this and that. And his wife comes out with a shotgun and this, and his son comes out with an AK. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Rock God bless." I was like, I robbed them folks in there.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? You steal the receipt too?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
sold that too. Oh god, that was good.
God, yeah, but The Pest. So, any final thoughts on The Pest?
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a film.
It is
It's a film. I like how you just went with a fact. Like,
It's a film of the 90s.
yeah.
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 Honestly, I would actually kind of recommend it. It's like a time capsule
It
of
is,
like
yeah.
90s comedies.
Mhm.
It's like there's parts of it that like do not fly, and there's a
Yeah.
couple parts where it's like, oh, I got a good laugh.
Well,
like it's not awful.
It's one of those movies you show people who be like, yeah, this movie would not work today.
No.
This is a movie that wouldn't work today, but you have to see why.
yes,
And you watch it.
You have to
and so-
experience it for
It
yourself.
does. Yeah, that's true.
but yeah,
I can see that making a drinking game out of this.
Oh god!
Yeah.
Every time, what is it? Every time Leguizamo does a
yeah.
voice,
Yeah,
you
voice.
take a shot.
Yeah, every time he dresses up, take a shot.
Oh no, it should be every time a costume
We-
change because
we
if you
do
look at
not-
voice, you might die.
We do not recommend doing this.
No, but yeah, that's the thing. Or you could do every time they, every time he just brings up a scam of some sort. Good, take a shot.
Every time they mention money.
Oh, oh gosh.
Ooh man,
Oh yeah, I'm already like on the floor.
done.
Like,
Done.
by,
First 15
by the
minutes.
time he gets to the island, I'm done. Like,
Oh god. But yeah, overall, would low-key kind of recommend The Pest. Just
Yeah.
be knowledgeable that it's of a movie of its time, and it's funny in a sense, but it's more like a learning experience.
It really
Yeah.
is, yeah.
But any final thoughts?
I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a kid. Like you said, I would recommend it just to kind of show that it is a movie that wouldn't work necessarily today. But I still enjoyed it. I still have fun watching it. And no, that's pretty much it.
All right, but that brings us to the end. So what are we going to be doing next week on November?
Well, it's November, so it's new movies we've never seen before, so we have no idea what's coming next.
Oh, we do not. But if you wanted to catch up and see what's coming next, where can they go?
You could go to our Instagram at the Film Club. At the Film Club Podcast, where we post upcoming episodes and upcoming guests that are going to be joining those episodes.
Yes, and you can also listen to those episodes at...
Let's see, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, which is caught up.
Yes, our YouTube channel's finally caught up.
Hey.
Took
So
like a
weird.
fucking year. Yeah, you can go and
That's awesome.
watch these lovely episodes on our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault because the Film Club was taken. And you can go there, like, comment, subscribe. And Renee, would you like to plug anything?
Yes, you guys can want to find me on Instagram at Renee G. Bravo. If you guys want to listen to my podcast, it is at Keeping Up with the Nerds. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and yeah, or follow the Instagram, which is at Keeping with Nerds.
And with that,
We'll see you next week at the Film Club.
have a good week, everybody.